Yeah.
Got it.
Listo, chicos, muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos. A nombre de OCESA les damos la más cordial de las bienvenidas. Les vamos a pedir a todos que por favor levanten la mano para hacer alguna pregunta o utilicen el chat. Va a estar aquí del equipo de OCESA, Regina y Emilio para apoyarlos. Y lo que les quiero pedir es, para aprovechar todo el tiempo, vamos a hacer solamente la pregunta en inglés y no vamos a hacer traducción simultánea y les vamos a pasar la grabación, ¿va? Entonces, déjenme nada más tener esto listo. Un segundito y empezamos ahorita en un minuto. Hello guys, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Jim Glennie, the bass player and one of the songwriters in James.
And I'm Tim Booth, the singer, one of the songwriters in James.
Okay, le vamos a dar la palabra a Arnulfo Zamora, por favor.
Muchas gracias. Hi, you guys. How you guys
Hello
been? It's wonderful to see you guys. Well, I'm asking you two questions, but let me introduce me. So I don't want I am here, but I know what I'm doing here, but asking you guys. So my first question is, what you guys is your opinion about the more recently, well, the record release? Let's talk about the Jammy, and then in otherwise about your more recently single release. Well, I waiting for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Could you outline the first question? Again, what you want to talk about?
The album?
About the album coming?
The new album coming out. Oh. You're right. Jammy. Okay. It's called Jammy.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not a very James title. It was because we felt the album was delicious and quite uplifting in many ways, although some of the lyric topics can be dark. And we just kind of, I sing on one song, yummy, 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 and everybody liked it. And we said, let's make the album yummy. And then somebody pointed out that we looked online and saw that Justin Bieber had an album called Yummy, but none of our fans will know that. And we didn't know that. So we stuck with it. It's very joyful. It's very, it's unusual because I've been listening to it tons to try and learn the songs before we come and play them. And I'm not getting bored of it, which is really shocking me, I think.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't like to listen to our albums too much because I'm always scared of over listening and losing the spontaneity.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm finding it hard to do that. You know, we jammed about 100 pieces of music.
Yeah.
And then we whittled it down to working on 16, 17. And that's our James process. We always improvise. 4 of us improvise, and then we whittle it down to our favorite improvisations and turn them into songs.
Does somebody need to translate this, or can we just carry on answering?
No, we're going to carry on, please.
Okay, so let's fire away. Yeah, well, as Tim said, it's a very kind of joyous, uplifting album. There's lots of the lyrics have got a deep and meaningful at times, but I think that's countered with a lot of joy and uplift. I mean, I think the world is, as we all know and are all experiencing, there's a lot of darkness and negativity and division, war, and people need that explained, I guess, to some degree, or attention drawn to those things. But at the same time, you've got to give people hope. You know, you need to give people that sense that things can be different, that things can change, it can change positively. And we want to be part of that as much as we possibly can, you know, whether it's making a record, as Tim said, which is uplifting, or playing concerts, coming to people and sharing that uplift and joy, you know. It's always a bit of a journey, a bit of a ride coming to a James concert. You never quite know what you're going to get, but we always want to leave people with that uplift, with that joy, you know. That's our mission in a way.
And what about, so What about your assistance on Vive Latino Mexico 2024? So what is your opinion? Are you guys, about these things, about these massive concerts, or what is your opinion, please? So please.
I mean, I know it's a huge festival, and a lot of the music is Latin music, obviously, and I know that there's not many Western bands get chosen to play, so I feel very flattered that you've chosen us this year. We've not been to Mexico for a while, so it'll be fantastic to play people. And I know it's a massive festival as well, and we're going to play to lots of people that maybe don't even know James, that come to see the other artists, and that's our challenge, to try to win those people over. Hopefully people are there to be receptive and to listen. And it's our job, our challenge then is to engage them, to pull them in, and maybe, leave them wanting to hear more. Maybe they go and listen to the records on Spotify, and we win some new people over. We love Mexico. I suppose that's the simplest answer to your question, really, is we miss not being there. We always enjoy it when we come. It's fantastic. We're doing 2 shows there. We're playing Guadalajara as well, which is wonderful. And it's just a celebration. The people are very joyous, very uplifting, very welcoming. And it's always a pleasure to go. It's always a pleasure to be there.
Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen. So I hope to see you soon. And thank you so much, James. Rock on, James rules, right? See you guys. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias por la intervención. Gracias, bye-bye.
Gracias, Arnulfo. Carlos Fernando, tienes la palabra. Next question to Carlos Fernando.
Thank you, guys. Let me ask you about this, as Arnulfo said before, this great connection that you have with the Mexican crowd. You are well respected and well loved by the Mexican people, and you know it. How is in this Vive Latino the offer? What are you going to offer to the crowd, and what are your expectations? I mean, you know that Mexico gets crazy in concerts. What are your expectations, and what is your offer to this show?
So, the first time we came to Mexico was in 2008, 9, something around that time. I'm terrible with time, so forget that. You can Google check me. But we had no idea we had an audience. The record company in the West, they never tell you, because I think they probably felt that the music would be bootlegged, and they can't sell music, so they don't want to tell you to go to a country where the music's not going to be bought, because they're all about the money. But we go where we have an audience. And so we booked a 2,000-seater venue, and it sold out within a week. And so we bumped it up to 4,000, and it sold out within a few more weeks. And by the end, we were playing to 12,000 people, and we were shocked. We had no idea we had that level of audience. And I remember the first night I got in the audience, and I lost my shirt. I mean, which doesn't usually happen to me too. I'm usually good at keeping my personal belongings. But people literally tore my clothes off, and it was like, oh shoot, what is this? And so it was a level of passion that we weren't really expecting. That was just a joy. And we keep pushing away at our promoters to come back again and again, but people go, oh, you can't go back too often. I don't think this is true. But we keep being told this, because each year we say, please, can we come back to North America, Central America, South America, or we have such great time in Peru and in Chile as well. And same thing happened in those countries. We didn't realize we had such an audience. And, I've lived in Los Angeles for 15 years. So to me, it's I'm close to the border. It's a really big deal to me. And so, we come, I think the difference between James and most of our contemporaries is they focused on being cool, and we focused upon touching people's hearts. Yeah. And
do it very well.
Thank you. And, I got into music because I heard a Patti Smith song about a boy losing his father on the night I was told my father was going to die. And I was 16. And this song just reached out to me across the world and made me feel less alone. And for me, I think that's what, you know, I think we do that. We try to reach out to people and make them feel less alone. We have other songs. We have songs that do more flippant, playful things, but we have songs that I would consider, and this may sound pretentious, and I give you that if you wish, but as medicine, and people write to us to tell us this is the truth. You know, they write and tell us incredible stories about certain things, what certain songs did for them, how at certain times in their lives, and every band gets this, but we get some very strong ones in that way. And I think we want to reach out and make people feel less alone. And as Jim says, you know, I write dark lyrics, but there's always an uplift. We're not Joy Division. I love Joy Division, but I can only listen to that record once a year. When my spirit's strong enough to take it. You know, we want someone's blowing their nose or sitting on the toilet, I think, with their microphone on. So, you know, in the end, we want to, touch people's hearts and leave them passionate, leave them singing, leave them dancing, leave them having fun.
Is This Love is the proof of that. Is This Love is a great track. I feel that this track is like walking through a jungle of hearts, beating at the same time. It's tribal, even, and it's great. Congrats on that.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks a lot.
I mean, that's something we really noticed too when we come south of the border of the USA. People are more in their hearts, and it just seems to be like, oh, okay, we feel quite understood. Yeah. You know, we come from England, and England is, people don't wear their hearts on their sleeve in my country. You know, you look at someone too long and they think you want to fight. So we've always had slight problem here, because we do wear our hearts on our sleeve.
I mean, it's strange because, you know, the countries that we've had success in, apart from the UK, you know, are Latin countries, you know, Spanish-speaking countries. I mean, it's, and I think that says something about the countries that like us, but also us as a band, I'd like to think. It's a strange one, much more so than the success we get in Northern Europe. I feel much more at home in these countries where, again, it's about heart. You know, that's you know, the music isn't necessarily like, doesn't sound Latin. It's like we're using lots of Latin rhythms or anything, but it's with passion and meaning. And I think that connects with people at a deep level. And it's not about, as Tim said, it's not about looking cool, or it's not about that aspect of music. It's about something much more meaningful. And I think it starts with a record, but then it goes into live, and it's that direct relationship, which is so powerful. What we all missed through COVID, when there was no music for 2 years, and people missed that sense of togetherness that you get from that. It's powerful.
So much deep.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Tim said, it's medicine. These things are there for a reason. You know, people go for a reason. It's moving. You know, people cry. People, you know, songs mean different things to different people, and they bring back memories, or they reflect a part of their life, whether it was losing a loved one, or whether it was falling in love, or whatever it is. It's emotion. It stirs it up, you know, and you share that with the people around you, and it magnifies it, it amplifies it. It's a special experience, and to be in a band and that's your job is incredible. What greater privilege. What greater privilege.
Yeah. We love what we do. That's why we're still doing it after 40 years, you know, longer than most marriages in this country. We're passionate still about what we do. Yeah. We have a 9-piece band. We have a trumpet player, which also is an unusual thing for a Western band to have a trumpet player. We have a guitar player who's a brilliant violinist, another guitar player who's a brilliant cellist. So we have flexibility of musicianship going on within the band.
Chemistry, just chemistry, man. Perfect chemistry. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. My pleasure to talk with such a great band.
Thank you.
Gracias. Siguiente pregunta va para el parlante Music Media, por favor.
Listo. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. First, I'm going to say the question in Spanish for the journalist and then in English for you. Okay?
Great.
Primero que nada, ¿qué opinan de tener fans famosos como Noel Gallagher, Damon Albarn y Johnny Marr? What do you think about having famous fans like Noel Gallagher, Damon Albarn, and Johnny Marr?
I mean, you know, they're our peers, you know, they're people we bump into now and again, and it's always good to see them. I wouldn't, you know, it's, you don't think of them as famous when you meet them. It's like, and if you do them a disservice. The service is to just be who you're with and see who they are, and it doesn't make any difference really. Then it's just totally normal. You know, I lived in LA, and I go to a fair in Malibu, and there'll be all these famous actors at the fair in the Dodgems. You'd be bumping into Matthew McConaughey on the Dodgems, or you know, but nobody wants to be treated special. They want to be treated like fun. You know, Julia Roberts had his kid at my school, her kid at my school, and became my son's best friend or close friend. And it's like, and nobody wants to be, that gets in the way. You know, it gets in the way of seeing someone as a human being. It puts them in a box that they can't get out of. And most famous people I know, they want to get out of the box.
Okay, guys. La segunda pregunta, the second question. ¿Qué significó para ustedes ganar el premio Godlike Genius en los NME Awards? ¿Y qué otros premios les gustaría ganar en el futuro? What did winning the Godlike Genius Award at the NME Awards in 2012 mean to you? And what other awards would you like to win in the future?
I didn't know we won that award.
Did we win that?
That even tells me, that should tell you what it meant.
Godlike Genius Award. Well,
it's very nice to get awards,
yeah,
but it's not been so high on our list of achievements.
No, I mean, you have to be careful, because obviously if your happiness depends on receiving and winning awards, then there's going to be times where you don't win any awards, you know. I mean, we basically do what we do because we love it, and we're a difficult band, I think, for the media to understand and to get their head around a lot of the time. We've struggled with that aspect of the business, so we just tend to just stay very quite blinkered, quite a narrow vision, and just do what we do. Occasionally we get people go, they're amazing, they're a bunch of geniuses, but the rest of the time we just do what we do. We can keep our heads down, we do what we do. And we got the Icon Award from the Ivor Novellos a few months back, which again was amazing. You know, it's from fellow songwriters, 2 songwriters, which again is the fundamental beginning point of where all this crazy journey starts, is writing songs. So that was really important to us. But at the end of the day, just like reviews in a way, you can't be focused on that. It can't be something you feel bitter that you were left out, or, you know, or feel validated because you received. It's really something, yeah, it's fantastic. Great that the people have acknowledged the hard work you put in. But at the end of the day, you can't get sidetracked by that, really. It's just, you know, that way madness lies, I think.
Music, since the iPod and the iPhone and phones, has become much more of a commodity than when we started. When we started, an album was an event, and you took it home and you played it and you sat and listened to it. Now it's something on in the background when you're shopping or when you're surfing the net. And it's lost some of that magic, and only a few people make you stop and listen. Like there's a band called Black Country New Road. That first 2 records are remarkable, and it made everybody stop and listen for a while, where I felt like, oh, I haven't heard music this powerful for 20 years. Why is that? And that was their first 2 albums. The singer he cracked up after that and couldn't sing anymore. So I'm not speaking to the new material, but you know, it's rare to be reminded of how important music is, and it's important that we just don't treat it as the consumer product that most of the time it has become.
It's very true. It's very true.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your questions, for your love to the music, and also for your social activism. Thank you very much. Gracias, chicos. Gracias a todos.
Gracias.
Oliver from Weir, your turn.
Hey, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good. Thank you. Thank you, Oliver.
Great. Recording Video Open by the Wonderful, I think it was like taking an X-ray of your music history. How was your experience?
Yes, it was in a way. It was a kind of a rounding up of kind of lots of songs from different eras of James, you know, done in a new format, working with the orchestra and Joe Duddell. It was a lot to do in a short space of time. We didn't have very much time to do it. And it's a strange mixture of two different, very, very different worlds in the music business. Ours, which is a lot more feel and a lot more kind of organic in a way, and the classical music, which is all laid out on a sheet and everything happens in a very kind of regimented order. And there was quite kind of a difficult meeting of those two worlds. I think they had to become a lot more flexible and we had to get a lot more disciplined, I think. But it worked. It was a ridiculous thing to take on in the time frame that we had. We didn't have very long at all.
3 days.
3 days.
And we recorded a double album of orchestral gospel choir versions of James songs. And Joe, who orchestrated them, he purposely chose songs across our lifespan and not necessarily the singles, although we had more singles this time than we did last. And it was amazing. I mean, we had a double album that went in the top 3 here in England. Everyone was like, don't release a double album. No one's got the attention span for a double album. And they don't. People don't have a attention span for a double album. I don't know if I do. But, you know, we were very happy with that record. It worked out very well for us, I think. And when we played with the orchestra live, it was very emotional. You know, you're playing songs that we wrote when we were kids, and suddenly you hear this incredible gospel choir start singing behind you. I would burst into tears some nights, as did the audience. And we were playing. It gave us permission to play more still songs. We're known for a live band. James is everyone goes, oh, James is better live than on record a lot of the time, and there's some truth in that, but live should be better. There's other dimensions happening in a live situation. We're choosing songs to fit the audience every night. We change the set every night. We won't have the set for Mexico until an hour and a half before we go on stage, because we'll look at the audience and go, what does this audience need? And so Be Opened by the Wonderful, even with the orchestra and the gospel choir, we were improvising, we were changing the set at night. You know, the orchestra were amazing. They were so flexible and would play with us. I'd go in the audience and miss my cues as a singer, and Joe, the conductor, would have to go around the same bit again till he's ready to sing, you know. And so it was a fantastic fusion, I think, of fleshing those songs out over years, especially like if you listen to a song like Sometimes, which we've always considered one of our best songs, you know, we recorded that with Brian Eno, and he said it was one of the musical highlights of his life. I never thought we'd record a version that would be as good as that, and I think the orchestral version is as good as that, if not, I wouldn't say better, but it's as good as that. And it was so powerful live every night. It would just you just see people weeping. So I mean,
it's something we want to carry on doing. I mean, it's not just something we want to kind of record, do the tour and then leave behind. It's something that we kind of want to kind of keep coming back to. I'm not quite sure what that means, but probably be some shows where it works in certain environments.
Well, right now, sorry to interrupt.
That's all right.
But we're backstage we're going to go on stage with an orchestra and Joe Dudell in about 40, 50 minutes and play some songs live with them. We're going to play Is This Love? We only rehearsed it once today.
Yeah.
And so that's the attitude, is like, okay, we're going to try this song. It may completely fall flat on its face, but it should be fine.
Is that the first time we've played it live?
First time we've ever played it
right.
live. Yeah.
So and that's us. We like a challenge, you know, and we like it to be scary. We like the fear. Being in James isn't about ironing out the fear. It's not about removing that from the equation. It's about embracing it. It's about using it in a way that's positive. And it's scary, you know, that's the way it is. But a lot of bands look to remove that. They look to rehearse and practice so that fear isn't there anymore. There's a safety in the predictability of things being the same each time. And we've never wanted that. We've never wanted that. We've always wanted the unpredictability of things potentially going amazingly well, but sometimes things go wrong. There's a mistake, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's just not letting your mind get too carried away when things go wrong, because if you do, then you go down that dark spiral. And it's a horrible place to be when you get in a bad headspace. Being on stage, it's like taking bad acid. It really is not great. But over years, you develop a resilience. You develop the right attitude, which is, it's fine. You're human. You aim for something and you didn't quite get it. That's cool. Sometimes you do get it, and the crowd see that. People see that and respond, and they know that you were aiming for something special and something new, and you achieved it. You hit it. And that's when the hairs on the back of the neck go up, and that's a special moment, you know. But you don't always get it, you know, and you have to be open to that. If you rehearse it to death, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
Yeah, good. It's going to be so interesting to listen it live.
Yeah.
Well, after 4 years of career, how has the way you see fame, money, love, and the privilege of creating music changed?
It's really, you know, you can see that with all those different TV shows, The Voice, and, you know, we have Britain's Got Talent. I'm sure you have the equivalent. It becomes about fame, and it becomes often about money. And that's not our world. You know, we grew up listening to the Velvet Underground, who never sold more than 20,000 copies of an album in their lifetime. And then later people went, oh my God, that band's amazing, and came back to them. You know, we're playing tonight in the Manchester Apollo. I saw one of my first gigs here with Iggy Pop and Lust for Life tour, and it was only playing to a few thousand people. And Patti Smith, who now is famous over the years, but at the time was not very famous. And so we loved music that was a bit under the radar. We came from that. Jim loved The Fall, and, you know, a great Manchester band. So it was never, for us, it was always about leaving music behind that you can be proud of, and not necessarily going for the money. We made some stupid business decisions. Like we refused to let them release Sit Down in America. We said, no, we're bored of the song. It's 2 years in the past. You can't release it. We owned it, so we didn't let them release it. And in retrospect, that was probably a foolish move. But we made quite a lot of foolish moves because we chose artistic choices over money. And you can see now that now we go, oh damn, we should have made some money there. But it's like, but it's too much about money. It's too much about fame. It just doesn't matter. It's so much got to be about, you know, we need to be able to afford to bring our 9-piece band to Mexico. That's important to us. And it's sometimes we can't come as often as we want. But apart from that, it's not about money. It's about what can you do? How can you connect? What's the connection? Yeah. We love what we do. We're very lucky. Not many people love their jobs.
Yeah, sure. Finally, Yummy will be released until April. In addition to Is This Love, the new single, do you plan to play more songs from that album when you get here?
We'll probably play a couple. We'll do some rehearsals before the Mexico shows, so we've got a couple on the back burner that we're hoping to put into the set.
We haven't played them yet, so we don't know how good they are yet live.
Well, that's the plan.
We've got a song called "Life's a Fucking Miracle" that we want to play.
Yeah, which is great
because that's one of our favorites at the moment.
Yeah.
But we don't know if it will work, you know.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for your patience and your answers. I send you greetings and a big hug.
Thank you.
Thank you,
hug to you too.
Luis de Miss Culture Radio, your turn.
Hi guys, hi Jim, hi team.
Hi there.
Interview a great rock band. My question, 10 years after the album La Petite Mort, the feeling of the dead and the influence of the Mexican culture of the dead is still present in James. At the Vive Latino Festival, will it be possible to listen to the song Moving On?
Good. That's a good question, and we don't know, because as I say, we choose the set list an hour before we go on stage, so we won't plan. But that's a good point. I'd forgotten that connection. We used artwork from your culture respectfully, I hope, because in the West we don't know how to face death or how to meet death in a joyful and connected way. And so we were inspired by the Day of the Dead and the Day of the Dead artwork. And still, to be honest, we're getting to that age where they say, oh, you're in Sniper's Alley now, if you understand what that means. Once you get over 50, you're in Sniper's Alley.
Wow.
And we're at that age where I lost a good friend a few weeks ago. And so but in my culture in England, when my father died, they closed the casket. I never got to say goodbye to him. I never got to touch his body. When my father-in-law died of COVID, our last words were on FaceTime, were like this. He was coming off a ventilator, and he asked me actually to sing Sit Down to him. And then, he came off the ventilator and he died. So it's like, but death is an amazing experience. When I got to Le Petit Mort, the lyrics, I wrote about death a lot on that record because I got to hold my mother as she died. And it was a beautiful experience. And I was shocked. I was shocked that it was so obviously a birth. And I didn't grieve because I got that experience. That was like, oh my God, this is so obviously a birth. And it was transcendent. And that was what really a lot of Le Petit Mort was about different ways of approaching death to some degree.
We rubbish at it in the West. It's like we're in complete and utter denial that anybody's going to die, and when they do, it's like a shock. And there's a whole mixture of an inability to cope and deal with it and accept it, which we seem to just still have no idea of how to change. It's very bizarre, something that is obviously going to happen to all of us, that we seem to have not managed to remotely come to terms with it. But yeah, in other cultures, they deal with it in a much better way. It's just, it's strange. It's odd.
I have a novel coming out called When I Died for the First Time. And the cover has very faintly in the background, you can see some Day of the Dead skeletons in the background for the same reason, I think, which was a celebration, a connected death, basically.
Okay, thanks, guys. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Es el turno de vinil, por favor.
Hi guys, welcome back to Mexico. And my question is the set list from Guanamore Studio in Guadalajara is the same, because in Guadalajara is a full show and Vive Latino is a festival. You have the same set list for the show? And who is the expectation for the two presentations in Mexico?
Well, I mean, in Guadalajara, that's our own show, so we'll be playing for longer. I'm not quite sure how long we're playing for in Mexico in the festival, but it'll be less time. So there will be two different set lists. I mean, they're playing in Guadalajara. I imagine, you know, most people are going to be James fans. You know, they're going to come before James. They're probably going to know songs. At the festival, they're probably not. There's going to be a big chunk of people that don't. I'm sure there's going to be, you know, people there that know various tunes they've heard, but there's going to be a lot of the set that they don't know. And it's our challenge to win those people over, to find a way to connect and to pull them in and to engage them and to hopefully turn them into James fans. That's the plan. So the approaches will be very different. As Tim said before, we don't know yet. We don't know what the songs will be for both shows. But they will be different. There'll be two different set lists.
That's one of the major differences between us and most bands is we don't have a set for each night. You can't look at the set we played last night and think you're going to get it tomorrow night. You won't get it tomorrow night. For very good reason. You know, we want the thing to be a living communication with the people who are in front of us when we play. And that means Friday night in Mexico is going to be very different to a Monday night in Lisbon. And you play a very different set. And also if something's happened in the news beforehand that's upset people, that will be taken into consideration. We may have a song that can relate to that or can help people express that. So we're choosing our songs according to the day of the week, the city, and what's going on locally in events, and also what songs the band are really playing well. There are certain times where there's one, you can tell a song is on fire in the band. So we're likely to play that song, and it might not be a hit, it might be a B-side, but it might be so strong that we're confident enough to play it.
And we sometimes change the set list when we're on stage. You know, you'll be working through what we thought was the right list, and then we'll kind of go, do you know what? Should we change this? And we'll have a little discussion on stage, shuffle a few songs around, and play something else. You know, that does happen often.
We think an audience appreciate the spontaneity. We may be wrong. They might not like the chaos, but we think that there's room for that in this very tight world that we live in, where everything is in boxes and put in its place. We don't want that. We want to blow that up.
Cool, guys. Thanks so much. And Tim, Patty Schmidt is right now in Guadalajara and also Mexico City this week, so maybe we can send greetings to you.
Oh, send her my greetings.
Cool, guys. See you soon. Thanks, George.
Lenny K is the godfather. Yeah. He's the godfather of my son.
Cool. Wow. Crazy.
He produced our first album, and we became close in 1984 or 5, I should think it was.
Yeah, it must have been.
So we're close with Lenny, and you know,
Great, bro. So see you soon, and thanks.
Cheers. Thank you.
Next person to ask a question, Azul, please.
Hello, guys.
Hello there.
Hi, Azul.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. There you
just said something very interesting just a few minutes ago, that it's for you, for the band, it's very important to connect with people and not to be a cool band. You know, for the band it's important. But nowadays it seems like it's more important to be cool. So in that way, what do you think about, for example, the IA, for the creation of music with the IA, and I think it's not nothing that can connect with people and now, but it's generational. It's like it between generations. So what do you think about that?
Great question. Especially, I don't know if you've seen the new ChatGPT 5 that came out a couple of weeks ago, which is more to do with video, but it's still astonishing. Here's the thing. You know, we worked with Brian Eno for years and still do. he oversaw our new album. He was overseer, so we could go to him with any problems. And Brian is brilliant at using technology and generative technology. So he'll have a piece of music that will recreate itself with an algorithm. And somehow he makes it personal. The music is still emotive. So I wanted to not like it. You know, I want to be able to say AI is evil and blah, blah, blah. But I think in the hands of the right person, it could be remarkable. I just haven't, you know, the only person I know who's really made electronic music and computer generated music emotional to me is Brian. There aren't many others that I can think of who have done that. So it's rare. And I think it's going to mean that we're going to get even more and more music flooding the market with stuff that isn't really expressing a human approach. And then if it is expressing a human approach, it will feel a little bit manipulative. You know, they've been stealing our information online for years. They know how to manipulate us to buy the right box of shorts and to buy this thing on Amazon that everybody needs and what you're selling on TikTok and the influencers. So the algorithms are going to know humanity from a rather manipulative psychological viewpoint. And it may be able to make something that works for a lot of us because of that. But it's going to feel a bit dirty, I think, because you know that it didn't have its heart broken when it wrote that love song, and it didn't lose a parent and write a song about it. It's writing it from a kind of a very strange perspective. I'd like to hear an AI song written from the point of view of what it's like to be AI.
That will be interesting.
I mean, there's incredible footage of, I think it's Microsoft engineers, and they ask the AI, well, what use will humans be? Because you're going to be so much more powerful. And I've heard this. Actually heard the recording, and the AI says, "Oh, we'll keep you around for old time's sake. You'll make good pets." and the programmers laugh, but it's a laugh that has a real fear behind it. I've written a song on the new album called Mobile God, which is about mobile phones, and it's written from the point of view of an AI or from your mobile phone. And it starts with, you know, I'm the lover you touch in the evening before bed. I'm the first thing you stroke in the morning before bed, when you wake up in your bed. And it's called Mobile God. And it's written from, you know, and it keeps saying, don't turn me off. Please don't turn me off. Because the turning off of an AI can feel like a death, I think. There was one AI that was sent out to the press, and when the guy tried to turn it off, it kept begging him not to turn it off. And I thought, holy cow, you know, we don't know what sentience is. We know we're such arrogant creatures as humans. So we look around the world and go, no, there's nothing intelligent here like us. And it's like, and then you look at an octopus and how it can change everything. And you look at whales and how they communicate, and you look at elephants and we go, okay, maybe they've got some intelligence going on. We can't judge intelligence by our own standards. It's ridiculous, total arrogance. And we don't know if we've made AI sentient yet, or if we ever will. It will just be a different kind of sentience. I think 10% of people working in AI think it will be the end of the world. That's a fact. 10% of people working in AI think it could destroy the world. That's a hell of a lot of its workforce to believe in that. So we're really playing with fire here. You know, Musk says it's much more dangerous than a nuclear bomb. It's much more dangerous than nukes. And we wouldn't let people build their own nukes. And so why are we letting people build their own AIs? And so it's a really scary topic that I'm going to write more songs about in the future. Because they're going to write about us, so we might as well write about them.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Es el turno de fusión. Next question to fusión, please. Ok, Cel Quintero, entonces, por favor.
Hey guys, good afternoon, Mexico. Good night in England. This is El for MX Rock. What do you think will be the biggest challenge for your band performing at Vive Latino with a lot of cultural music difference?
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting challenge, and we'll see how it works. I think Guadalajara will hopefully start to tune us into the culture a bit more, and we'll go, oh, okay, that song worked. Maybe we should be playing that song. What do you think we should do?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure your show is going to be the most memorable you have here in Mexico, but let me guess. Surprise me.
Well, we will. We promise.
Okay, I'm pretty sure about it.
But are there any other songs? I could say Laid, obviously, but are there any other songs than Laid that you think might go down particularly well in Mexico?
The Mexican crowd, it's very warm, so I think if you interact with them, they are going to be very happy.
Okay, great. Well, we like doing that, so.
Okay, thank you so much. Nice to meet you. See you at Vive Latino.
See you there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Edgar Hernandez, please.
Thank you, Jorge, and good evening. Good night, guys. Thank you very much for your time to answer some questions. I have two of them for the two of you guys. If you want to answer each one, that would be awesome. The first one and the most important, I was hearing what you were saying earlier about that how this is very sensitive, or how the music you create is very sensitive. I would like to ask what represents the music on your life. If you can describe each one of you guys for me.
Do you mean choose songs that we love from other artists, or do you mean what would a song be if it was trying to represent our lives?
Basically, I was thinking more for the personal side, Tim. If you can tell me what music represents on your life.
Wow, that's a tough.
You mean our songs or
I'm not
other?
sure. Well,
I still can't understand. Do you mean our songs or other people's?
No, he
songs?
means what music represents in
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah,
music
in general. What represents on your life?
I mean, it's been the whole of my adult life. I mean, I started in a band when I was at school, and the band kind of morphed into James. It turned into James. So it's been everything for me. It's been my process of growing up. It's rather kind of must be a slightly bizarre kind of existence to be in, to end up now at the grand old age of 60. After being in a band all these years, it's been everything to me. I mean, it's become, it's where I write, it's where I work out my own issues. There's lots of stuff to do with your own personal confidence and ego that come out in a band, within either the interrelations or how you express yourself externally. There's lots of things that about this is about growing up. It's about being an adult. We've had lots of car crash moments in the history of James where things have gone wrong. And they've usually been, some have been to do with the business, but some of them, or a lot of them, about personality and our individual kind of, include myself in this hugely, flaws, you know, and thinking you're right and trying to demand your own way and not really being able to grow up sufficiently enough to realize that if you're not careful, you lose this thing that you love, because you can't deal with being an adult in that situation. And we've been close to messing this up. We really have. And I thank the Lord that that's never happened, that we're still here. And I think it's given us those close shaves, those moments where the disaster was close, I think has given us an appreciation for what we do. And I think it's sent us into this stage of James's existence with an understanding that this isn't just about music. This is about people, and it's about finding something within ourselves that connects at a level which makes us strong, and also means that then we can open up and that we can give to people. It's not just about an individual, oh, I'm on stage and yeah, aren't I cool? Aren't I great? Isn't this amazing and wonderful? It's not. You have to put that to one side. We're part of a collective. There's 9 people up there. And when we play, it's 9 people. And there's a power in that. And there's a strength in that. And this is different for James in a way, because it's part of our journey. We started small. We started spindly. You know, you listen to those early records from the 80s, and the songs are fragile and weird and odd and unsure of themselves. We were like that. They reflected us. And now this has developed into something that's just joyous and uplifting. I mean, it's a pleasure to be in the band. It really, really is. I mean, it's such an amazing stage of the band's career, the nature of the relationships in the band and how we can enjoy what we do now in a way that's all those silly little arguments and pointless nonsense has gone. And thankfully, we've managed to get through that to this point, because we are lucky. We're incredibly fortunate. We do a job which is wonderful. We get to travel the world playing our music, songs we wrote to people that love it, that cry, that shout. It's amazing. And we're so fortunate. But you can mess it up. You can mess it up.
But which is why bands don't last. I love that answer. That's because the dynamics of a band are the dynamics of a family. And you know, and families can be really hard work. You know, who likes Christmas?
Indeed.
Put your hand up. And we've had to get through a lot. And then in the last, I'd say 10 years or so, well, since we came back, we've all reappreciated and kind of gone, oh, we've got to enjoy this. This is like, and we came from the tortured artist myth. Yeah. And we burnt the tortured artist on a stake. And especially in the last few years, we have these 2 women who joined us in the last 5 years, and they've really added something to us. We're in danger of becoming grumpy old men. And the women brought more balance to us. Yeah. They've really brought something. Yeah. This new record coming, you can hear them much more than on the one before, because the one before was made during COVID. Yeah. So we couldn't all play together on the one before. But this is the record where you'll hear the difference. And we've been enjoying it more. And then I would just add, for me, I've been able to write about all the things that excite me or frighten me or make me laugh or make me angry, and then find voice, and these incredible musicians make this thing behind it that makes it palatable or makes it hit home harder or goes against what I've written in a really fascinating way. So there might be a really joyful pop song with a really bleak, depressing lyric. And I love that. No one controls it. I don't control it. We surrender. We feel we're being given gifts of music to take to people. And
Understood.
we feel, and that is our job. And once we've recorded the album, it's not ours after that. It's wherever it lands. Yeah. It's whoever it lands in, and what they're going through at the time when they hear a certain song, like Tomorrow, which is about trying to stop someone committing suicide, or a song like Le Petit Mot, which is moving on about the loss of your mother or your good friend who died, or Gold Mother, which is about childbirth. We wrote that in 89, 90. Not many singers in their 20s and 30s can get to write about childbirth. It was an 8-9 minute improvisation song. And I just feel so blessed to be in this crazy band that will run with whatever I'm writing about and find some amazing way to make it go multi-dimensional, where otherwise I'd be shouting in the dark and everyone will be avoiding me on the street, because I'd be the crazy guy on the street, and instead I get a platform for that, and we get a platform for that. And so music is everything to us. It's our language. Dancing too. There was a poll in Denmark. They follow people for 30 years, and it was how long they live and how happy they are. And the three things they came up with, it wasn't giving up drinking, giving up smoking. It was singing, making music. It was dancing, and it was camping.
I hate camping.
Yeah, which I take camping as being in nature. I think that's
right.
I think that's what they were getting at, like
right.
some nature connection.
Oh, I don't like camping.
I'm not sure I like camping.
No,
but I thought singing and dancing were the things when they follow people for 30 years made people the most happy.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking group singing, group making music together.
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe that the music is with us from the minute that we born, even when we are in the belly, until we are in the grave. So thank you for that. And just to deviate a little bit from the main topic here, you said that the music represents everything, and I hear you guys like being so mature that I would like to ask this question, even though it might be awkward. It's related about what is your position related to what happened with our brothers in the war, specifically in Palestine.
I have personally kept out of commenting because we're talking about something that's been going on for thousands of years, and everybody has an opinion, and I didn't see opinions changing anyone's mind. So it's not something I've wanted to talk about, if you don't mind.
No, that's perfectly fine. And the reason why I bring the question is because there were many people in the music industry doing that. But thank you, Jorge, and thank you guys. I do appreciate.
We're going to focus on Vive Latino, and the band needs to go right now because they have commitments. And we'd like to thank you guys for being with the Mexican Media Press, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us. We're going on stage in 10 minutes, so we'll
I know. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in Mexico City and in Guadalajara. Thank you. Para todos los demás, muchísimas gracias por atender a nuestra rueda de prensa. La grabación se las pasaremos en unos minutos a través de Ocesa Comunica, así es que muchísimas gracias. Estamos en contacto. Hasta luego. See you guys later.
Jim, in Mexico.
Thank you.
We love James.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Gracias. Hasta luego.
Muchas gracias.